Hello friends, this is Kunal Pant from MISHAL today. The buzz going on for today, that is 27th February 2022 Sunday. Right from the daytime to the late evening time, there had been many developments in this Russian-Ukraine war. Finland to close airspace for Russia, planes says AFP. Kremlin, Russian delegation in Belarus for Ukraine talks. Kremlin says it's ready for talks with Ukraine in Belarus. Russian news agencies reported. Russian delegation ready for talks with Ukraine in Belarus, says IFAX. A Russian delegation has arrived in Belarus for talks with Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesperson was quoted by the IFAX news agency as saying on Sunday the first negotiations since Russia started its invasion on February 24. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that the Russian delegation included officials from the foreign and the defense ministries, and President Vladimir Putin's office was awaiting the arrival for the Ukrainian counterparts in the Belarusian city of Gomel. Also, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky rejected a Russian offer of talks in the Belarus on Sunday, saying that Minsk itself was complicit in the Russian invasion, but leaving the door open to negotiations on many other locations. The Kremlin said on Sunday its delegation was ready to meet Ukrainian officials in the Belarusian city of Gomel. Ukrainian leader says country is ready for peace talks with Russia, but not in Belarus, which was invasion staging ground. Finland to close its airspace to Russian mail planes. Finland, which shares a 1,300 kilometers, approximately 800-mile border with Russia, is prepared to close its airspace to Russian air traffic. Transport Minister Timo Harakka tweeted overnight. Also, Putin hails heroism of Russian special forces in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday congratulated members of special forces on their professional holiday, saying they fought heroically in Ukraine, while the Kremlin insisted it was ready for talks with the Kyiv. Special gratitude to those who are heroically fulfilling their military duty in the course of a special operation to provide assistance to the People's Republic in Donbass, Putin said in a television address. Also, Ukraine's president says his country is ready for peace talks with Russia, but not in Belarus, which was staging ground for Moscow's three-day-old invasion. Speaking in a video message on Sunday, President Volodymyr Zelensky named Warsaw, Bratislava, Istanbul, Budapest or Baku as an alternative venues. He said other locations are also possible, but made it clear that Ukraine doesn't accept Russia's selection in Belarus. The Kremlin said Sunday that a Russian delegation has arrived in Belarusian city of Gomel for talks with Ukrainian officials. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that the delegation includes military officials and diplomats. Also, 223 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 28 aircrafts on the ground and 39 multiple rocket launchers, 86 field artillery mounts and mortars. 143 units of special military vehicles were destroyed, Russian Defense Ministry spokesman was being told. Russia's Belarus talks plan is a propaganda, Ukraine official says. Ukraine wants only the real negotiations with Russia over its military offensive without ultimatums. An advisor to the President Volodymyr Zelensky told Reuters on Sunday, calling Moscow's decision to send a delegation to Belarus for talks propaganda. Earlier, the Kremlin said that the delegation has arrived in Gomel in neighboring Belarus and was waiting for the Ukrainians. Zelensky rejected talks in Belarus, saying it was a complicit in the invasion, but he left the door open for the negotiations some elsewhere. Russia stalls Soyuz rocket launchers over the sanctions. amid increased sanctions imposed on Russia over its military invasion into Ukraine. The Russian Space Agency has announced a suspension of Soyuz rocket launchers, the media reported. Roscosmos had said that it's halting all cooperation with European partners on space programs. Space.com reported Russia's Soyuz rockets are used by the European launch provider Space to launch satellites from Guyana Space Center near Kourou, French Guiana in South America. Ukraine Railways is additionally organizing emergency trains at no cost, first come, first served basis from Kyiv. Schedule can be found at train stations. Indian diaspora is advised to move away from the conflict zones to the western region subject to security situations and extent regulations. Indian diaspora is advised to move away from the conflict zone to the western region subject to security situation and the extent regulations. Ukraine Railways is additionally organizing an emergency trains at no cost, that is on the first come first served basis from Kyiv. Schedule can be found at all major railway stations. Russia has warned Ukraine its offensive will not stop for talks, says Kremlin. The Kremlin on Sunday reported that it has warned Ukraine that Russia's military operation would be suspended during any potential talks. The Interfax news agency reported earlier Russia had said that its delegation was ready to meet Ukrainian officials in Belarusian city of Gomel, a location Kyiv rejected at Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Minsk itself was complicit in Russian invasion. Germany to close its airspace for Russian airlines. Also, Zelensky hails establishment for pro-Ukrainian international coalition. International Judo Federation suspends Putin as its honorary president. Also, UK says Russia needs to withdraw from Ukraine for any talk. British Foreign Minister Liz Truss said on Sunday there could be no talks with Russia over Ukraine while Moscow has troops in its neighbor, adding that the conflict will be protracted. Now, if the Russians are serious about negotiations, they need to remove their troops from Ukraine. They cannot negotiate with a gun to the head of the Ukrainians. So frankly, I really don't trust these so-called efforts of negotiations. That was being told in the Sky News. More than 43,000 Ukrainians entered Romania since Russian invasion. More than 43,000 Ukrainians has fled to Romania in a 3-day since Russia invaded Ukraine by land, sea and air. Border police data showed on Sunday they have entered Romania through its 4 land border checkpoints with Ukraine but also through its checkpoints with Moldova. Data that showed thousands of them have already exited country on their way to Bulgaria and Hungary. China to arrange chartered flights to evacuate nationals from Ukraine. China is preparing to evacuate at about 6,000 stranded nationals on Ukraine amid ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine. On Thursday, the Chinese embassy in Kyiv issued a public notice regarding the evacuation and said that the authorities are preparing chartered flights of the process, Global Times has reported. Also, Romania to send fuel, ammunition to Ukraine. Romania will send provisions and equipment worth 3 million euros to Ukraine and has offered to care for the wounded in military and civilian hospitals, government spokesman Dan Carbenio said in Sunday. Provisions has to be made that include fuel, ammunitions, bulletproof vests, helmets, military equipments, food and water that has been added. In cooperation with Ukrainian border authorities, Romanian ambulances will pick up children, pregnant women and other elderly waiting in long queues to cross the border into Romania at the northeastern Siret crossing, spreading up to the process. Ukrainian conflict could last number of years. it may or may not be possible that the Russia-Ukrainian conflict could last a number of years, and the world needs to be prepared for Moscow to seek to use even worse weapons. This was taken care by British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss warned on Sunday that I fear this will be a long haul. This could be a number of years. Russia have strong forces, and we know that the Ukrainians are also very brave. They are determined to stand up to their sovereignty and the territorial integrity, and they are determined to fight. That was being said by Truss in Sky News. EU, that is the European Union, could ban Russian flights from its airspace. That was being taken care by the officials and was noted by the officials. Ukrainian minister says Russia lost some 4,300 men in invasion. Now, to counter back, Russian forces have also lost about 4,300 servicemen during the invasion of Ukraine, Deputy Defense Minister Hanra Malaya said on Sunday, adding, however, that the number was being clarified. Also, Lebanon's position on Ukraine should not affect ties with Moscow, says Russian envoy. Lebanon's condemnation of the Russian invasion of Ukraine will not affect considerably Moscow's relations in Beirut, the Russian ambassador said on Sunday. In a different times altogether, we can see those who stood with us and those who didn't. Also, Ukraine invasion puts Russia's elite sports status at risk. Russia spent up to $50 billion to host the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, then concocted the most elaborate doping schemes in history, all to cement its standing as a global sports superpower. Also, Ukraine calls for Russia to lose UN Security Council seat. Ukraine, this is very important. The Ukraine president says Russia should be thrown out of the United Nations Security Council following its invasion of the country. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a video message Sunday that the Russian invasion of Ukraine amounts to an act of genocide, saying that Russia has taken the path of evil and the world should come to it, depriving it in the US Security Council seat. Russia is one of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, giving its veto power over resolutions. Zelensky said that Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities should be investigated by an international war crimes tribunal and denounced the Russian invasion as a state terrorism. Belgium closes airspace to Russian airlines, says PM. And very, very important, all the Indians stranded in Ukraine will be brought back to the country at the government's expense. That has been said, that has been decided to increase the number of flights to neighboring countries of Ukraine with their permission for this purpose, says our Defense Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh. And also, special UNSC session on Ukraine, special UNSC session of Ukraine will be held at 3 p.m. New York time on 27 February. Portugal to send military equipments to Ukraine. Portugal to send military equipments to Ukraine, the Defense Ministry said on Sunday, joining other Western nations in dispatching help to the Eastern European country under Russian attack. Lisbon is to dispatch vests, helmet, night vision goggles, grenades and ammunitions of various calibers, the ministry said in a statement in the early hours on the Twitter. Portugal supports Ukraine, which is defending itself against an unjustified, illegal and unacceptable invasion. Defense Minister Gio Cravino said on another tweet that Foreign Minister Augusto Santos Silva on Saturday, and that has been totally open to welcoming thousands of Ukrainians forced to flee their country. Iceland says it will close its airspace to Russian air traffic. Iceland has decided to shut its airspace to Russian air traffic following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Icelandic Foreign Minister Thoris Kolburn Glyfatudur tweeted on Sunday. Ukraine submits application against Russia to ICJ, says Zelensky. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday this nation has submitted an application against Russia to the International Court of Justice, that is ICJ. Russia must be held accountable for manipulating the notion of genocide to justify the aggression. We request an urgent decision ordering Russia to cease military activity now and expect trials to start new week. Zelensky quoted on his Twitter, "World in the new era after Russian invasions of Ukraine," says Germany's Scholz. Germany Chancellor Olaf Scholz said Sunday that world stood in a new era with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, noting that the question facing Western allies was whether they can muster enough power to set limits for warm gods like Vladimir Putin. In essence of a question of whether might can be break right, he said in a speech at a special parliamentary sitting. Also, German Chancellor says still open for talks with Russia. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on Sunday that he was still open for talks with Russia, but warned Moscow had to be ready for real dialogue. Also, International Judo Federation suspends Vladimir Putin as its honorary president amid ongoing war conflict in Ukraine. Also, Germany allies must not lose momentum in Russia sanctions. Germany and its Western allies must not run out of steam in sanctioning Russia as President Vladimir Putin has long-term plan in mind, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said on Sunday. Also, Jaishankar, our Minister for External Affairs, dialed Moldova Foreign Minister Nicu Popescu, seeking support for facilitating entry of Indian nationals on Ukraine-Moldova border. Russia wants assistance to foreign states can be a treason. The Russian state's prosecutors often said on Sunday that anyone providing financial or other assistance to a foreign state or international organization aimed against Russia's security could be convicted of treason, facing a maximum sentence of 20 years. Poland, Romania, and Hungary to allow Indian students escaping Ukraine to enter without visas. This is very, very important. Poland, Romania, and Hungary are allowing Indian students who escape from Russian aggression in Ukraine to enter Poland without any visa. On behalf of Poland, the ambassador to India, Adam Burakowski, informed this, and also Germany to step up plans to cut dependence on Russian gas. Germany will make good on plans to build 2 liquefied natural gas, that is LNG, terminals and up its natural gas reserves to cut its dependence on Russian gas after Russia's invasion on Ukraine, Chancellor Olaf Scholz told on Sunday. So friends, this has been the latest development right from the morning to daytime to late in the evening of today, that is 27th February 2022 in India. Thank you very much. Your friend Kunal Pant from MISHAL Today. Thank you.